On this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast, damn it, Bobby! Louise.
The new B&B, borax and beheadings.
And baby's back. Baby back, baby back, baby back ribs.
And dicks and bones. So many dicks and bones. Dicks and bones. Let's do this. Welcome to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. I'm Diana.
I'm Liz.
And we have made it to the end of season 7. It's episode 23, Survival of the Fittest.
Yay!
Woohoo.
Season 7's over. It's on to season 8.
Uh-oh. What?
Nothing.
You told me people don't like season 7. Is season 8?
No, people really like season 8.
Okay.
So I mean, Jeremy Carver is going to take over as showrunner, so he does some interesting things. And this is, I guess, this is the last one that's written by Sarah, and her last thing with Supernatural. So things like, but I mean, Jeremy Carver already had like the same kind of voice. You know, he's had his voice in a lot of this. So but I mean, when we get to the end, I guess we'll expand more on that about my predictions without being spoilery about it. So,
okay.
So what have you been up to before we get to that?
Well, it's been the holiday season, but yeah, so I did a lot of family stuff, and then I guess my big report back would be on the Harry Potter Forbidden Forest in Little Elm, Texas. I went with that with my sister, and I was not sure what to expect. I'm just gonna say it is fairly expensive tickets, and you're like, I'm gonna pay what to go walk in a fucking park in the middle of nowhere?
I saw that your ticket prices. I mean, like, I think they were reasonable. A reasonable event for something of what you had there, the amount of what you had, like. That was not cheap work.
It had quality production work,
yeah.
So I get it now. But going in, I was like, but if you're going with kids, bring a family of 4 is going to be real expensive. That's what I'm saying. I got cheap ones because I went a late night one.
But it's still like way cheaper than like going to like Six Flags or something, right?
It is
way more expensive than like most light trails, but
yeah. They got to pay for that licensing.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it was like
legit
pretty cool. License too, which is like that can't be cheap.
No, but yeah, it was cool. There was a couple animatronics. 3 animatronics. Actually, I didn't take.
Why didn't you steal their parts so I could learn how to make them?
I'm sorry. They had at all of the animatronics. They had employees standing there. So. But they had some interactive stuff
you had
too,
a sister.
and a
she
lot
could
of
distract them. I'm just saying you didn't try.
I know. And like they just like some of the easy stuff they did, like the simplest stuff was really lovely. Like they just had like the lights, like really well directed lights at the trees, and you're walking in this park, which is like a walking trail next to like a friggin' soccer field in a lake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but they camouflaged it really well because they angled the lights to really. Illuminate the tree and make it feel deeper because you're seeing the tree at the front. It was just really well done, and and you're just reminded how good the entire score of all the films are because that's just what's playing as you're walking along. And every once in a while, you get some
it's a lovely score. Like it really is. Yeah.
It is.
And it's nice to go walk in the woods at night, isn't it? Like, even if you're not drunk.
Sipping on some mulled wine.
But you were getting a little buzzed. And so, like, a little buzzed in the woods in night. Like, you were pretty close to winter solstice. Like, it was
a full moon when we went.
Oh, yeah. Tonight's moon is crazy. Have you seen it? Like, it's big. It's called the cold moon.
Oh,
it's I don't know. It's fucking big, like, and it's delightfully colored. I don't know. Okay, sorry.
Huh. I missed it, but Yeah, so no, it was nice. I will say it's pretty crowded. It was pretty
Was
crowded.
it?
You're able to kind of like mitigate that in how you take your pictures, but it was, you're
Oh,
with, they kind of like corral it with a group, and there was lines to get some of the photos and things like that. But
that's annoying
I got
as
to
fuck.
bow to Buck. Yeah, I got to bow to Buckbeak, and he bowed back to me.
Did he
To
like
wave
not
at
bow back to
Fang.
people? Like, were there some people?
Yes.
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
Very few, but I saw him not bow a couple times. And then you get to cast your Patronus. And then they had some other, and
Did
you get to do like a
everybody
wizard
have the
battle for
same
a photo op.
Patronus?
No, they had like 4 or 5 they rotated
Okay.
through. So that was better. And they had 2 little stands for that. And then I made my sister do it, and she wouldn't yell it. And then they had some other interactive ones, like where you could like make a little explosion of the blast-ended scroots, and then had a thing where you could like change these light up mushrooms on the ground their color, and take a photo op with like a wizard duel and things like that. But it was neat. They had Aragog as an animatronic, they had Grop as an animatronic, and then the Ford Anglia that was smoking badly and was this it was supposed to, but it was too much smoke. It was kind of a lot. You're like, oh my god. But like, is that supposed to be smoking that much? And then they had like a lovely little like food area with thematic food and drink. So yeah, it was a good time.
Nice.
Glad I went.
Nice.
That was my excitement. How about you?
So I actually was down on the Riverwalk in San Antonio this weekend. There is way more to San Antonio than the Riverwalk, but that is happened to be where Hugman's Oasis is, and that is the main tiki bar in San Antonio. And they were doing Santa's something or another. I forgot what it's called, but yeah. So went and had a bunch of tiki drinks and a bunch of holiday themed tiki drinks, and like started off with this one that was vodka themed, and it really was to me like. So everyone else like correctly identified it, but I just kept thinking of it like your White Russian with spices. Okay. So I had a couple of those, and they were good, and then like a bunch of rum shots and other things. So it was a good bar. Although there was some like weirdness with the hosting situation, like they have a time there are times when there's like. You're right. Times on your reservation, right? So you can only be like at your table for so many hours, for so long, yeah. Right? And there was a table that was waiting, but they were trying to they ushered us out while we were waiting to like finish settling up our bills. So we had to settle up our bill in like another part of the restaurant, and none of this was our fault. Like we were ready to go and ready to like, here's our cards, like we'll help you, like. Yeah. And they like were short. I don't know. They were probably short staffed, and so, but like, and we're just getting shit though from the hostess about like that we need to get out. And I understand that she's got pressure from the people who are waiting at the table, but to me, like. Why are you making our
tell your wait staff to get our tab right, and then we'll be out of your way?
Yeah, and just hospitality wise, like why are you making? Nobody should be made to feel unwelcome or rushed to me. Like no matter where you are, and just be smooth. I mean, they're very they were nice about it, but also like it made the whole we felt awkward. Then because we were gonna move out of that booth anyways and go hang out and talk to people. So it wasn't that big of a deal, but.
Right.
It was just the way that it was presented. It was also just the lack of communication, I think, between the server and the hostess. Why weren't they talking? Why were we no, she's still getting our bill. It was
we're trying to give you money. Trying to give you money.
I was just, it's kind of just I'm not doing anything bad. I am not a bad customer. Also, don't make me, why is that a thing?
That's so annoying.
So, yeah.
Super annoying.
But still, the drinks are delicious. And I still, oh my God, the decor in that place is top notch. And
it's just it's so good. It's such, and did they do it holiday too?
Yes, there was a
little bit nice.
Not as much as there was some really good stuff in there. I mean, I would say very different than other Christmas tiki themes we've seen, but I still liked it. Cool.
Nice.
So
Awesome.
are we ready for?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's jump on in. Let's make it happen.
We're jumping on in, not on a shark. So
Jumping in.
this is season 7, episode 23, the season finale for season 7, Survival of the Fittest. The original working title for this episode was Get Dick.
Oh, that would have been better.
Yeah. So as I was saying earlier, this was written by Sarah Gamble. It was her last show. After this, she went on. She is like just still been very prolific. She went on to do a lot of EP work, executive producing work, and just producer work. So she was the EP on the show Physical, which is about like a woman struggling in her life as a quietly tortured housewife to find an unconventional path to power through an unlikely source. The world of aerobics. Huh. Okay. And it's like set in the 80s, and so it's always amazing aerobic stuff in there. So like back when aerobics was like a thing, and I wish aerobics was still a thing. Like I would go to an aerobic studio.
My mom was a jazzercise,
I would go to,
she loved that. And I thought it was so cool because I'd either go to like the kid, go hang out with the kids at the babysitter. But when the few times she'd let me come do jazzercise with her, I was stoked because every once in a while they'd let kids do it. And I thought it was so cool.
Yeah, it was so fun. And I guess like Zumba is the new jazzercise or whatever.
Yeah.
So she did that and the show You and The Magicians and Aquarius with David Duchovny, like so a whole bunch of stuff. So she went on to do lots of things, but her Flavor Flav, like not as much on this anymore. So let's start with we start with the song that we always have in
end of season. Yep. So Carry On My Wayward Son is our recap song, and recap basically is just a run through. First off, kicks off with just a lot of shooting, people getting shot, and then it kind of just runs through all of our like some key moments / monsters of the season. Leviathans, Cassiel, Angels, Dick, Bobby, Meg, the Word and Kevin, Alpha Vamp, Crowley, Ghosts in general, and Edgar. I did notice 2 things that I didn't see in the recap specifically that I was kind of surprised at were Garth and Charlie. I don't remember seeing them in the recap. But I thought that was interesting since those are 2 characters that we met this season that are pretty prolific that in the series fandom that didn't get a quick flash in the recap. That's my observation.
Yeah, maybe.
I guess maybe people didn't know how popular they'd be and how long they'd last at this point when they shot.
That is also true. I mean, like at that point, they could have just been thinking about it, but because Frank Devereaux wasn't prominently featured, right? Just like,
he had a tiny spot.
I think it was really more. Anyways, so this is like it's really. I guess that's right. I never really thought about that as like a whole season recap. It's interesting. I'm gonna think about it and now I want to go rewatch it with kind of that in mind. Because I think of it more of like but do you feel like it's a season recap, but more of like a big bad recap? Charlie was a part because I was like Garth. You can arguably say wasn't part of the.
They wouldn't have been able to. Yeah,
but Charlie was definitely a part, and she's a part of this episode too. So you would absolutely.
So that was my weird observation about the recap.
Where the fuck is our Felicia Day? What the fuck? Like more Felicia Day. I think that's just a statement I'm happy saying.
Normal request. Yeah.
All right. So that happens. And again, I always like every time like it comes on, I'm just like, oh yeah, I do. I forget so like we've been doing this podcast now for 7 seasons, and there's a lot of shit. And they're just like, should we just quit? Like that happens. Like every every once in a while, I think like everybody has that with like things in their lives. But then I think just the song comes on. It's like you get this like little emotion, like just punches in the gut, and you're like, I love this show. So yes, good on them for like getting those emotions flowing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we pick up where we left off from the last episode with Crowley and Dick Roman in Dick's office because Crowley's trapped in the Devil's Trap. And, Dick's got to leverage that.
He does. And Dick tries to apologize, but not really.
I don't know. Yeah, he just owns that he's been a fucking asshole to Crowley and talked shit to Crowley before, but he's also like, hey, I know. I guess he knows the speed and what's going on now, but with the Winchesters, the Prophet, and Crowley's blood. And Dick's like, yeah, obviously I know that you have a blood vial ready to be delivered to the Winchesters if you end up dead. So I'm not like going in straight to kill you, obviously.
When did blood vials become a thing?
I don't know.
So now like everybody's just talking of blood vials?
Blood vials just hanging around. I got one stashed in the back. No.
Okay, so now that's a thing. Okay.
No, pass. But he's like, so I know if you end up dead, they're going to end up with your blood and then they'll have the weapon they need. So let's fucking make a deal. Let's make a deal. And he's like, I will give immunity to Crowley and all of your constituency, as he calls it, which also all the demons. They're going to get Canada. The demons get fucking Canada. They can do whatever the fuck they want in Canada. Have their way with locals. But the Leviathans get America because they need America because they're so fat.
Yeah, this is obviously pre-Ozempic. So we know Ozempic is not a Leviathan plot. This would be the opposite. No. But Crowley is also enjoying the fact that his blood is the key. Like so much. Like I just love like he's just like
he's in demand. Getting off on that.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. So basically they both agree that they want Sam and Dean gone. And so he's like, yeah, I'll do this and I'll just deliver this fake demon blood that
Dick but it's very specific. Very specific, fake demon blood. Like he knows the source. Like it's like Portlandia with the chicken, but it's like the demon blood. Like so, where is my demon blood from? And it's just like, oh, I know my demon blood is from this guy in New Jersey. And why?
Like I'm sure Crowley has access.
But to demon blood. Also why does Sam and Dean need fake demon blood? Like, can't you just give them a fake
whatever blood?
Sugar water and just be like, this is Crowley's blood.
Just go to Spirit Halloween.
Do they have a demon blood checker that they're going to be going before they try and do this? This was unicorn blood.
It's so weird. So yeah, so Crowley's like, fuck yeah, let's do this. But we need to do our contract in writing. And Dick says, I don't kiss on the mouth. So Crowley has a real contract. So
Crowley also says that it's his loss, and it is definitely. And I'm kind of sad I don't get to watch Crowley and Dick make out, but whatever.
And okay, that was reasonable. Actually, I was going to argue with you. So, hey, yeah, fair. So they got a magnifying glass and a giant contract.
Yeah, that scroll is amazing. Just the entire and they get to negotiating and I love it, but just kudos to you and the art department for making the scroll. It's a work of art and
it is.
I'm like, shit, is this thing on eBay? I bet it is. We should
Well, Sam and Dean are driving and basically we don't know what the plan is yet, but Dean suggested as a joke for them to try to find their righteous bone they need to stab Dick. And so they're going on this trek. And they don't want to call Castiel for help because last time they called Cass, he showed up naked and covered in bees.
So alone with just Dean on his car, And so you say Dustiel was in my head. The man showed up naked, covered in bees. And my mind is just.
But he was on his car. That's not a sign of love.
My mind is he's not a sign of love.
No, you don't car.
But he loves the bees. Anyways, but yeah, so I'm sure God, this is what AI is for. I need to get someone AI a picture of me, a Dustiel covered in bees on the hood of a baby. Somebody has made that.
I'm sure they have. But the news comes on. They know that Dick's at the fucking headquarters. That's the thing. So they're going to reconsider their next steps. But and then now we get a flashback to Louise, who is the housekeeper from the motel that Bobby has possessed. And she's just walking around on the streets and watching Dick Roman on TV in the storefront windows.
Yeah, so I started calling them Bobby Louise, and that does sound like
I
someone
get
who I would be related to. And once again, I argue there are no TVs and windows anymore. I don't understand how
There's
you're
not. I'm like, what year
what
is
even
this?
in this year, this trope. You were just holding on to this, okay?
Yeah. Yeah. I thought the same exact thing. So I am amused when they are doing the redlining on this contract between Crowley and Dick, because I will tell you that part of my job is marking up contracts and writers. So I do that, but I don't do
See,
red because red.
but you see,
You're not
you
supposed to
mark
use
up
that.
contracts and it's really fun. I mark up contracts and it's not. Like I see you
Sometimes it
like
is.
no, I hate this. Like marking up contracts, like trying to figure legal language and trying the things between like lawyers. I hate it.
Oh, I don't have to deal with the
It is
lawyers.
like
Mine are just general
yeah, like
contracts.
it's the least
They already have. They
favorite
have the
job.
legal same legalese in
And
every
then
one.
also, fuck you, Dick Roman, for sending my boss ass bitch Susan to go make copies. She is not your
And call the
admin.
notary.
She is a boss bitch. Susan, stop this. He is abusing you. You get abused in this entire episode. Again, I'm here for Susan.
She seems like she's into it. She's very happy.
You can get more. More. Ask for it, Susan.
More.
You're not going to get more until you ask for it.
Well, in the meantime, Sam and Dean are at a crypt looking at nun bones, and they select their nun in Sister Mary Constant.
She's 83.
So Dean says,
and a nice nun.
Dean says, "Let's bone this nun." He has to put something in the douche jar for that one, right?
He does say sorry afterwards. Like he immediately
Okay.
knows that it's
He
bad.
knew.
But I do
bad.
enjoy like the are there books inside it? Because according to Supernatural, within a nunnery crypt, one, I never thought about going to a nunnery crypt, and now this is on my Liz's summer vacation plans. But within this, apparently there's a book that tells you like what these nuns
Everything
did.
about them.
Like that's literally, I'm like, this sounds like the best vacation ever. I could just go sit like in a crypt
and read about dead nuns.
Read about dead nuns and be like, oh, because those were just to me like those are the like women who like did stuff for a while. Like that was pretty much where we're gonna find them. We're gonna be like in the nunnery. So, but good on you. Like I also love that Dean like thought the one who like became an abbot or abbess or whatever the fuck they're called. He was just like that sounds political.
Stupid political. That's political. Power corrupts, not her. I was like,
oh, you see, Diana knows, like, also, like, you're just kind of obsessed with nuns right now. When there are, like, the nuns that were in the Texas Monthly article, the ones that are outside of Dallas that are fighting with the bishop. Do you know about the, like,
I heard something about it, but I haven't read this.
There's, like, this whole, like, asshole bishop that was, like, taking on, like, these, like, nuns who, like, are part of, like, their convent is, I forget what the name of it is, but it's one of the ones that's kind of going out. But, like, he's basically trying to piss on these nuns, and they were just like, nah! And so, like, there's just, like, you can't fuck with us. And, like, so, like, there's this fight between these nuns and this, one of the bishops of Dallas. Yeah, so you should read up on that. It's a really good article. But also there are the weed nuns of Mexico, and they don't actually like they're not Christian nuns. They just believe in the healing powers of weed, and they're just going around helping people and smoking dope. My new favorite nuns.
Right.
Either way, the other ones too, also the ones that fuck off from that bishop. Like either way, I love a good nun. So, but yeah, Sister Mary Constance. Sister Mary
Constance. Sister Mary Constant is donating a bone to kill Dick. All right. So back at the cabin, they're going to summon Crowley, but nothing happens because we know that Crowley is stuck in the Devil's Trap with Dick Roman. Or maybe not, but he may be still just negotiating. But either way, he's with Dick.
Under my favorite Devil Trap. Yep.
That is a cool devil's trap in the ceiling. But so Dean's fucking pissed. He's like, this must be intentional. And Sam actually points out, oh, it could be like not intentional, and that's bad.
But also, like, I mean, but what happened? This is like an interesting thing, right? And so, if a demon is in a devil's trap and somebody summons him, the devil's trap negates
the summoning.
I feel like that's an interesting RPG.
We learned something,
right?
It is a good bit of of rule that we get.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Meg shows up and she's like, you got to deal with this guy. I can't deal with him.
Emo boy. You had to deal with emo boy.
Emo boy. Because he zapped her back there. And so Dean's like, I'm going to go find out what's going on. And he goes out to talk to Castiel, who's like sitting in the car, a car for some reason, not Sam Dean's car.
No. You always skip over the shit. I know you do it on purpose. Okay. So not only did Meg say that she can't deal with emo boy, she also said that he was his boyfriend first. And if I had remembered to put this into our sound things right now, and I would maybe just go in and put it later, like there'd be a little thing just going, Destio. Okay, now you can go back to now you can go to our boyfriends that are sitting into the car to Cass listening to. Do you know what he was listening to? Because it made my ears bleed.
Vincent by Don McLean. It was awful. Sorry, Don McLean.
Why? Why is that ever made?
It was just some bad hippie shit. I'm sorry.
That's why people want to beat up hippies. Is that song?
Music like that. Exactly. That's why. Exactly why. So, and Castiel just tries to start talking about how he's just been thinking about monkeys being used for cosmetic testing and how that's not fair. But Dean's like, no, that's really not what's going on here, but sure, come on in. And he just keeps reminding them that he doesn't want to participate in anything violent. But he picks up the bone that they stole from the convent and smelled it and identified Sister Constant and said, good choice. And it was so weird.
So apparently, bones have a smell that angels can identify. But he also said that she was a good bone to pick, and then I'm just like, that just looks funny, really written in my notes. It was a good bone to pick. I have a bone to pick with you, and I have, so many bone jokes in this. I do love a good boner joke. So I mean, this episode does give us a lot of boner jokes. So kudos, Sarah, for going out with a bunch of dicks, bunch of boners and dicks.
Oh, yeah. So, and he's talking about Castiel wants to just keep talking about he was observing flowers and fruit and blah blah, but he hadn't heard anything from the garrison. So now we're getting to the meat of what's actually going on. And so he went to check on Kevin, our prophet, at his house. And then we are reminded that Leviathans can kill angels. But basically, Kevin's gone. He's been taken. That's the headline here.
It's pretty big news.
And also that and I guess this is important too, that his entire garrison of angels is dead. And that, and just the reminder that if we learned this in the previous episode, but that Leviathans can kill angels. So
yeah, they did.
This is not great. Not great. But we know Kevin's alive. That's good news also.
But he's missing. We don't know where he's at. So we're assuming that he's with the Leviathan.
Correct. So now, but now Cass feels like he can just wash his hands of it. He's like, okay, I feel better. Y'all can go save him. Bye. And Meg, in the meantime, has noticed that Sam and Dean are set up to summon Crowley. And she is less than stoked about this because, as we all know, Crowley wants to fucking kill Meg.
Y'all need to start thinking about poor bitch Meg. She's doing a lot for you, and you're just not why?
Just throwing her under the bus.
Someone think of Meg.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Sam and Dean are like, no, it doesn't matter because he didn't show up anyways. And then he shows up.
But also, right before, he shows up, and, unfortunately now he knows they're alive, and everything is Cass does stick up for Meg, too. So we have that going, too.
Yeah.
And then Cass tries to give Crowley a bag of honey, and it's so great. He's just here's my gross honey. It's the grossest bag of honey I've ever seen.
He's got a Ziploc bag inside of his jacket full of cloudy honey. And don't get me wrong, I get unfiltered honey can be cloudy. I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying it looks fucking gross in a Ziploc bag that you pull out of your jacket.
I don't know why honey in a Ziploc bag is so fucking gross, but it's disgusting.
Well, how do you get it out? I'm just saying, think about the mess.
No way.
messy. Like I don't even know how to store a jar of honey without getting my entire kitchen covered in it. So I mean,
or like have it just like it just dies and like just goes into like a solid rock, and then I'm like, then I'm Googling how long can I put a honey jar in the microwave before it explodes. Yeah. So anyways, so that sorry, there's a honey tangent, but that happened. Okay, so gross honey. Where I'm like, where are my notes? I'm like, okay, gross honey. Well, gross, okay, basically, okay, we're back to the vials of blood.
Back to vials of blood, and Dean's like, "Are you here to donkey punch your old grudges, or are you here to end Dick?" Crowley's like, "I want to do both, but whatever. It's not fun while fucking Castiel's off his rocker, so." Anyway, so here's my blood. Here's a vial of blood. Just carrying it around. And Sam is super sus, as you should be, because what the fuck is happening here?
I just wish that, like, when Cass had given the bag of honey, Crowley had given a bag of his blood.
You trade.
This thing just
like a Ziploc bag full of blood.
Just like a Ziploc bag full of blood.
I want them both to like check the seal on it once or twice too, because you have to check the seal on your Ziploc every time.
It's our new Ziploc commercial. It's just
swapping honey and blood. I mean, that would be a good commercial if it's sealed.
Yeah,
I'd be sold.
Yeah.
Well, but Crowley's gonna spill the beans. He's like, "Yeah, Dick totally had me in a devil's trap." That's why I was like, "But BT Dub, here's the deal that I just made, and it was super fucking fair. And I'm supposed to give you this blood that's not actually mine, but this is mine. Ta-da! So I'm double crossing Dick for you." Boy, how do you trust him? And and Crowley's like, "You can't. Sorry, suckers."
Yeah, obviously, because you're going to run your test that proves that it's demon blood, and so you know that it's not leprechaun blood and that it's really mine.
But can Castiel tell is the question. I mean, he can identify a bone by smelling it. So that was my one little question.
Okay, maybe Cass could tell if that wasn't demon blood. Okay. I'll give you that, because he can sniff a bone, so he could probably sniff a blood. All right.
And he's like, "Well, Meg, by the way, I'm not going to take you home yet, because where I'm going to roast you till you're jerky, because obviously Castiel likes you, and we kind of need him to help with this whole thing."
Okay, well, that's good. But also, see, this is like, someone think about Meg.
No one did. But Castiel's like, "I'm not helping because I don't fight anymore." And then he throws the blood to Sam and poofs out.
If it was in a sandwich bag, it'd be so much better. But anyways, he poofs out.
It splatted.
So we cut back to poor Bobby Louise.
Bobby Louise. And he's got a large package that is not very well camouflaged as a knife wrapped in paper. Right? It's very weird. Just strolling down the street with clearly a knife-shaped package, and then carrying a newspaper in his other arm. It's so weird. Very weird.
Bobby Louise's places to go with things to do.
And he tries to break into this truck, but then accidentally touches a piece of pure iron in the bed. I don't know what the fuck is happening here. It's very weird.
I don't know what the iron was. Like, I don't know, like, what it actually... There was something in the bed of that truck that was iron.
But why was he touching it? It doesn't even make sense. It had nothing to do with him breaking into it. He's just like, "I'm going to touch this shit in the bed of the truck. It has nothing to do with what's going on, but it's going to zap me out of fucking Louise. And then she's going to be very upset, and I'm going to get mad because I see a picture of Dick Roman in the newspaper and repossess her like a vengeful asshole."
Yeah, and clearly, like, no consent here at all. Like, this is
she
like...
is very upset.
She's very, very, very upset about what is happening. And so none of us... This is all very uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
But back in the Sucre headquarters, Susan and Dick are talking about a PowerPoint presentation, and Dick's like, "Do I look like a fool?" She's like, "Not in that particular body." And he's like, "Rules of contract negotiation: bring your breath mints, get it in writing, and have a plan for when they screw you." And sends her to the freezer to get the arm.
Susan, why are you running his errands? Dick can go get his own arm, Susan. So we cut to Kevin in a conference room.
Mm-hmm. And a Leviathan in a lab coat walks in with, and his name is actually Royce. by the way. I don't think we really hear that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just call it lab coat.
Yeah, I think I just called him Lab Dude.
Yeah. And he sends in this young blonde girl. I say young blonde girl, like young teen. Does that sound right?
She looks like a girl who would be in like one of the documentaries on Mormon girls, like who were like touched inappropriately. Like that's what she looks like.
Okay, well, I would say that she looks like about like a 14 to 15-year-old.
I think she looks way old. Like I would think like 18.
Like 16, 17?
I would say like
really?
just like the like just she's just as skinny. I don't know. I'm not good at ages.
I don't know.
Don't let me rush the door at your bar.
Unless you're IDing everyone. And then
God,
she's like,
no, because then I would have to listen to the old men over and over again, be like,
this gray hair's
the first
my
time
ID.
I've been ID'd and run.
I know. Can you see these wrinkles? Anyways, the
I'm old enough to
blonde
be
girl
your
is
sister.
I know. I've heard, we've all heard him be sad. Oh yeah. And she's just like super zoned out and eating Twizzlers. So obviously
I actually had to go to the
Super
candy
Corp
bar,
juice.
like the candy bowl in the other room, and go get Twizzlers because I was like,
when you saw
I was
this?
like, and then I like typed like, and she has a Twizzler. By the time I was done typing Twizzler, like I was standing up and like going to the other room to go. But at least like the Halloween ones, so they're like it's not as bad because it's just like the tiny ones. And then I also got a packet of Nerds because they were next to the Twizzlers and they looked good.
I have so many holiday related sweets and almost everything is chocolate. So much chocolate.
Your problems
and a lot of. And a lot of holiday themed peeps.
I'm just gonna have to microwave a whole bunch of shit. All right, so Twizzler Polly is non-helpful.
No, so back in the cabin, Sam and Dean are ready to make their fucking Leviathan weapon. They're ready. They're gonna pour the bloods on the bone. And they do, and nothing happens. So they have no idea if this works.
Do you think they have like music playing? Like I know in like this episode they didn't have anything playing, but like, do you think if like you were Sam and Dean and you're like, we're gonna like make a magic bone, like, do they have like a song in the background?
Silence or psych up music. It's got to be silent or psych up music. One of the two.
Yeah, I hope there's like some power ballads going on, or like, do you think like would Dean be like, yeah, we need some Fleetwood Mac?
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. All right. So Stevie Nicks is playing in the background, and they only have one shot for some reason.
Well, they only took one bone for some reason, apparently.
Listen, there's not more righteous bones. Like you just picked like one brand. Like there's more nuns. And
it didn't, and the directions didn't say how much blood you need. You said you had to wash it in the blood. So they could have like made doubles of these, obviously.
Why couldn't they make more than one bone?
I don't know. They could. That's choices.
Okay.
Choices were made. So Castiel shows up and he's got sandwiches, and I want one of these sandwiches.
Yes, I'm obsessed with this. There's like should be Castiel. Like I need a food truck with these sandwiches.
He went to a farm in Normandy for the wheat, for the bread, the lettuce, and the tomato, and he comforted the pig before slaughtering it because they need their strength.
This is the most ethically prepared and lovingly prepared sandwich. Like,
is it a BLT or a ham sandwich? Is my question.
It's a ham sandwich, unless he made bacon. He thought he just said ham.
I don't know. I thought he said ham too, but I was very excited about being bacon at one point when he said the pig, and I was like.
Well, it's still ham. I mean, either way, it's still good.
It's a ham. I'm not mad at it.
No, it sounds amazing. Oh, that's why I'm like, oh, damn it, why didn't I get ham today? Because I could put that on that brioche bread.
I have so much ham. Oh, I have so much ham. So much ham. So much ham. So, anyways, Sam's like, hey, why does Crowley say that you need to come with us, Cass? And Castiel's like, I don't know, he's wrong. Sorry. Back in the Secret Corp headquarters, Susan shows up with a biohazard cooler and Dick pulled out a human arm with a watch. And this is the original Dick Roman's arm that they saved.
The arm, and like this makes so much sense now. I'm like, oh, this, and it's a smart thing to do, right? Like, but also like
very smart.
Y'all can make like copies off of like a touch, right? Couldn't you have just like, where's your fucking vial now, dick?
It seems a lot easier to store. I don't know.
Just like, I don't know, like, I'm pretty sure I said like, I'm on a weird DNA thing right now, but like, I swabbed my cheek, I spit in the cup, like, that was like that much. Like, I'm making a sign you can't see because this is an audio thing,
It's
but
very small.
You could just like have like, you don't need the whole arm.
It seems like not very.
It's just not like a good use of your corporate, like, and you have to like, clearly storage. It's a biohazard thing. You're keeping this at a freezer at a like certain temperature. Leviathan, sometimes you're stupid.
Yeah. Well, in the meantime, Kevin is panicking in the conference room because he realizes he's on his own, and our lab coat dude Royce brings in like a dress bag and hangs it on the wall for Polly. Tells her to get dressed. And Kevin is admiring the hair clips, which seems weird at the moment, but we'll be back to that.
It's just weird. Why'd you bring in clothes? Like, why is she going to change her in front of you? Why does she have to change in front of you? I just don't understand
Kevin,
this.
It's weird.
Like, it's just weird. But she doesn't care. And Kevin's like, I don't want to see your titties.
No. Well, which and Dick and Susan weird. Are greeting a bunch of people. Yeah, well, yeah. Dick and Susan are greeting a bunch of dudes getting out of black cars. And Polly's dressed, and the lab coat guy tries to bring Kevin a burger and fries because he wants him to be dumbed down too, I guess. But Kevin's vegan, so I guess that works out. But Kevin stashed a bobby pin from the accessory bag because he is going to pick the lock and escape.
I also even though I've seen this episode, I kept expecting something to happen to Kevin because of the water that he was drinking. Because he I was like, but you're still like, because I wouldn't touch anything that they would like. Does Kevin know not to touch anything at this point? Does he know? He knows.
Is Kevin immune because he's the prophet?
Bickersons, right? Sam and Dean would have told him about Bickersons.
He would think so. And then but does he have any kind of special powers being the prophet?
Being the prophet? I don't know. Like, I don't know what that gives you, but I just wouldn't, like, unless I was, like, super thirsty. Like, wow.
Maybe he opened the bottle and it was sealed, but I don't know even that.
But the creamers are sealed. But anyway,
yeah, there they are. We'll get to the creamers. All right. Well, in the conference room, Dick and Susan are there handing out folders to all their guests. Polly's sitting in the corner. This is all fucking weird. And why is she all dressed? I don't know. I don't know why she had.
Why did she put the dress on?
She was wearing a little dress before, and it made no difference. So Dick makes a joke about how the last time all of these people were in the same room, they were inside that angel. So these are all Leviathans that are like, they're delegates and stakeholders and big industry people. And so he's going to explain to them about why they have the influx of happy, delicious stoners in their neighborhoods and what's happening next while they munch on sushi made of fresh orphan. Ew.
Can it be sushi if it's a person?
I don't know.
I think by nature, like, by just the word sushi is fish.
I think so too.
Like, I think it becomes something else.
Because beef tartare is not, or beef, what's the other one they do where it's the raw beef? Like, that's not called sushi.
What's the other one besides tartare? I don't know.
I'm blanking.
But
too. I can see the word. I don't know. Yeah, either way.
But either ways, like,
that's what it is. Carpaccio. There we go.
Carpaccio. Like, yeah, I think you could have like carpaccio, but I don't think you could have sushi made of orphan. No. So anyways, sorry.
Well, I agree. It's a good point. I fully agree. So he's going to talk through that they're launching next month their slaughterhouses that are cutting edge, humane, and efficient. And you don't have to worry about people freaking out because they've already integrated with emergency services. And Kevin is listening to all of this. So they're going to be upping the dose to the public right before harvest time. And they've got a regional approach with Ohio as beta testing, Wisconsin for processing, and Florida for the reading program, which I really didn't get.
Not reading, breeding with the B.
Breeding program. Oh, that's why. I rewound it twice, too.
Reading is fundamental. So was breeding.
So that was the last episode. So I'm like, oh, okay. So at this point, Kevin gets busted by Susan. So that's not good. And Dick introduces Polly to the group. So we know something weird's about to happen. but back in Sam and Dean's car, they are sitting outside the Sucre Corp headquarters, logged in to their security cameras thanks to Charlie. And they are watching Dick speak at the conference room. And Dick sitting at his desk in his office working. And Dick walking down a hall. So there are now 3 Dicks.
Oh no, there's a bunch of Dicks.
There's dicks everywhere.
So many dicks. There's just dicks all everywhere.
All over the building.
Then we go back to the conference room, and then Dick wants to breed out people with high metabolisms, which is also, I'm just kind of like, okay. I was like, but we're going to learn some things, though.
Yeah. Well, Polly's got a genetic propensity for like 3 different cancers, and they've zapped that out of her. Yay. But basically, they tell her to take off her dress. So now she's standing there in her bra and panties. And she eats like a linebacker, but they want meat, not these zippy little hummingbirds. Ugh. So they're going to breed them out. So he has additive 3.0.
Yeah, and so within the deck, they have the characteristics that they're going to breed out. So they're breeding out low body mass. So that's not me. Vertically challenged. That's so me. Not Diana. Definitely, you're fine. We're going to keep your that gene gets to stay with you. Hemophilia. I am not a hemophiliac as far as I know. And IQ's over 150. Yeah, I don't think that's me, but you never know. But so pretty much,
I like to think it is, but I don't trust any.
They don't want short, smart, fat people who bleed a lot. They're
skinny?
They
skinny people.
You go skinny people. They don't want short, skinny people who bleed.
Right, and that are really smart.
Yeah, and they're smart.
Not good. So they inject little Miss Polly with additive 3.0. She starts foaming at the mouth and dies.
Why is she naked?
It's so weird. They were just showing how skinny she was. She could have just stayed in a dress. You could tell how skinny she was.
You could tell how skinny she was. Or you could have put her in, like, I don't know, like athletic wear, like
yes,
some leggings, a sports bra, and some bike shorts. Like she didn't need to like put on a dress and take it. Why?
Just a strip in the front of an office or a conference room. It was very weird.
That just feels.
I think it was to make it more degrading, honestly, which is like why they did that, but that's whatever.
But anyways, but also,
it was still creepy and gross.
Yeah. So we have learned now that so they also have added a non-dairy creamer and multivitamins to their line
that's what has this additive in it. Because they assume the people that are using non-dairy creamer and multivitamins are going to be the ones impacted by this, and they're shipping it to LA.
So all you skinny bitches in LA, well, why would you be? I guess the multivitamins is where they would get you, like, because they're not putting non-dairy cream in your kombucha.
And says to watch out for the dysentery or whatever. To look out for the reports, and that the creamer cups are adorable, which they are.
All things that are tiny are cute.
Tiny are cute. I know. They're really cute. So Sam and Nina are still watching this shit go down from the car, and they see this blue pickup pull up. And so, God damn it, Bobby Louise.
God damn it, Bobby Louise.
Damn it, Bobby.
Damn it, Bobby.
Oh my gosh. There's been a large amount of King of the Hill and Bob's Burgers on lately, and that's just turned into my go-to television now. If it's all
I've never watched Bob's Burgers.
Love it.
Every time I've seen things, like, sometimes I get really annoyed.
Oh, well, anyway.
Yeah, anyways. But so, I think also because, like, the voice of, like, Bob and Archer, like, it drives me nuts. Because I love Archer so much. And, like, anyways, okay. So
they did a crossover episode. Go ahead.
I know. God damn it, Bobby Louise.
God damn it, Bobby Louise. So Sam's like, fuck this. This is not safe. We've got to go stop Bobby Louise. He's going to do something dumb. So they're like, they go try to, Sam jumps out to try to stop him. Dean stays in the car and trying to keep him out of like the camera view. And basically, Bobby Louise is like, yeah, I got to do this. And they get in a fight and Bobby Louise swings his giant knife at Sam. Not fucking cool. Then tries to choke Sam out. Not fucking cool. And then finally he sees his own reflection of Bobby in the window of the van that he's killing Sam against. And he stops and yells no at himself and bounces out of Louise.
But how long has it been since Soulless Sam tried to kill Bobby?
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like Karma's a bitch here. Like, it's been, what, a season, 2 seasons? Like, it hasn't been that long. Like, a year or two. Like, so I feel like Turnabouts for a plane, you kind of, I don't think you had it coming, but, like, hey, you know, like, who hasn't tried to, like, you tried to kill him. Your father figure. You know, like, now he's trying to kill you. Like, this is just the way of your life, right? So,
oh my gosh.
But also poor Bobby Louise, too.
Yeah. So Louise gets carried away and they take her to the hospital. So Sam and Dean, Castiel and Meg all end up back at the cabin. And Louise is going to be all right.
Thank God. Thank God. And also, more importantly, Cass has more sandwiches.
He does have more sandwiches. That bread looks so good.
That bread looks so good.
Well, Meg doesn't get it. She's like, y'all bailed on killing Dick for a fucking maid? And they're like, Dick made more dicks. And so it's going to be harder. And they're basically like, what is going on? And because Castiel is acting real weird, his immediate response is that I think we need a cat.
I don't think Cass is wrong. Cass wants a cat. And much like Diana's niece got a cat today, and I'm very excited.
She did get a cat.
What was the cat's name again?
I'm excited to meet Venus. I need to meet Venus.
No, we're like, his name needs to be like, is it a girl or a boy?
Boy.
Yeah, it needs to be like Professor Paddington Pufflepuff stuff or something like Professor, like, I don't know.
He does look very,
he's very distinguished. Or like Duke or Earl or something.
I'll have to work on Duke of Earl. I'll have to work on that. I'll come up with a list.
But I also love that he is named Venus, so that is good.
I know. Why not? I don't know if that was his name from the shelter or if he named if your niece was just like Venus. No, it's Venus. I mean,
now I'm also, so this cat is very distinguished looking and he looks like he should have a monocle. But now I'm also picturing this very distinguished cat coming out on like a shell.
Yeah. I want to see that now. Okay.
Thanks. AI will make that happen. Okay, so.
Oh my gosh, I gotta find a shell-shaped cat bed.
So Cass wants a cat, and also Cass won't tell them how they can help because he's just so fucking broken. He's just like
he's so broken. He's like, last time I destroyed everything, I'm gonna destroy everything again, so I'm not gonna help. And Dean's like, I don't care about cats or sandwiches or that you're broken. You need to clean this shit up. And Cat's response is that they should play Twister.
And you can't get a cat. That's really sad. Mm-mm. So he flaps off.
So, yeah. And Meg's like, duh, I know why Castiel's vital. Hello, he knows Leviathan's the best. They were inside of him. Like, so he can spot the right dick. Duh.
Be nice to Meg.
And then
she is a smart girl. She has insights.
And Castiel's just there in the background playing Twister. So, Sam and Dean are watching Dick Roman videos, trying to figure out if they could figure out any tells to know which dick is the right dick. And they're saying they can't, obviously. It's ridiculous. So, but Bobby shows up. And Bobby has come to terms with some shit. And so, I feel like this is a fairly small scene.
It happens. It's very profound, and you're right, though. It happens so quickly, right? And so he comes back, and he's like, I fucked up. I'm bad. I'm jonesing. Like, I want to be Bobby Louise.
And you need to burn the flask. You should have done it a while ago. I thought I could, outsmart what most ghosts turn into, but I was wrong. And it's like an itch you can't scratch. So you need to go get Dick. And yeah. And when it's your time to go, just go. I look forward to seeing you on the flip side. So,
but not too soon. Like, it's very weird. Like, it's like, yeah, so all of, like, Bobby's shit gets, like, summed up in
like 30
seconds. And then they get a cauldron. And somehow they had a cauldron here, and they say goodbye, and they throw the flask in a fire that somehow is hot enough to melt this flask.
Melt metal, yeah. Yeah.
Can we please throw a flask in the fire and see how long it takes to melt? Because
very long time. This flask melts very quickly.
It is very quickly, and I don't think that's how that works. But I would like to test this. But I also feel like we may get a lot of cart cancer if we try to test
I mean, like,
that.
what kind of metal would you make a flask like that out of? Was it pewter? I guess I don't know.
I don't know, but it just like went because the cauldron has to be very hot. Maybe it's bespelled.
Maybe bespelled. Well, Castiel's playing board games, and Dean's like, hey, I need a wingman to run an errand. And they flap out to a barn with a car, where there's a car under a car cover. And we all know what's coming next.
Do we? I don't know. There's just a car under a tarp. And so Castiel ponders, like, am I cursed?
Yeah, and like resurrection's has been a punishment for me, and I don't want people to die, fixing my mistakes, and I'm, all this. And Dean's like, you're kind of like the only guy left on the bench. I kind of need you, cursed or not. And by the way, we're all pretty much cursed if you look at what the fuck's happened to all of us. So
it's not a bad point, right? Like,
no. But Castiel notes a note of forgiveness. And that kind of is, I think, what turns this around, is that Dean has partially forgiven him. Dean even says, probably going to die tomorrow, so I probably get a little bit of forgiveness here. And so now he's like, all right, so Cass is in. What's the fucking plan? So Dean tells him, Dick knows we're coming, so we're going to announce ourselves big.
Big dicks.
And big dick announcements.
Big dick announcements.
And we are cruising down the road in Baby with Born to be Wild by Steppenwolf playing. And
I don't know why, but it just makes me very emotional. And it just like, as soon as like she comes out, it's just like, Baby! And you haven't seen her in so
all
long.
Season.
And we're going to ask questions about when the last time we saw her, because it's time for trivia. Season 7 trivia.
All right.
Are you ready?
I forgot to study. No, go ahead.
I know. I told you to study every season.
You
she
did.
forgets to study. Always out in the back smoking
7 year
weed,
streak.
like whatever the fuck you do in the back. Yeah. And I was like, no, I don't do that. But I'm just like, I don't know what people do when they're not studying. So, okay. So, Supernatural Season 7 quiz. All right. So this is your first question. This is the first time we have seen Baby since episode 6/fiction. After being told to hide her from the Leviathan, Dean was prompted to say what famous Dirty Dancing line?
Nobody puts Baby in the corner.
Okay, damn it. I was going to give you some very thoughtful and humorous multiple choice questions, but...
I know my Dirty Dancing quotes on Baby. Sorry.
Okay, so let's just make sure that you're sure.
Sorry.
Okay. So was it A, I carried a watermelon? B, I used to fuck guys like you in prison? C, nobody puts Baby in a corner? Or D, you used to be in jail, Johnny. She's a minor.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to question D, but I know the answer is C.
Yes, and also, I used to fuck guys like you in prison is a line from Patrick Swayze's better movie, Roadhouse. Yeah. All right. So, question number 2. In episode 1 of season 7, Meet the New Boss, Godcast says, I am utterly indifferent to sexual orientation. On the other hand, I cannot abide what? Is it A, socks worn with sandals, B, getting caught in the rain, C, cilantro, D, hypocrites like you?
I think it's A or D, so I'm going to go with A because socks with sandals are fashionable.
It was hypocrites like you. It was just making sure. Like, I was kind of getting concerned. Okay, and question number 3, and about we're not doing 23 questions, trust me. But so in episode 3, The Girl Next Door, Dean is a psychopath and murders Amy because she was a monster. Mm-hmm. What kind of monster was she? Was she A, a siren, B, a lamia, C, an Amazon, or D, a kitsune?
Kitsune.
It was. Remember, we got our fabulous kitsune mask. Ooh, ooh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Question number 4.
Those will be fun for New Year's.
This could be.
Go ahead.
All right. When we first met the Red Dirt Bandit, Dean's guilt was put on trial by which Egyptian god? Was it A, Osiris, B, Isis, C, Cleopatra, or D, Horus?
A, Osiris.
It is. Cleopatra is not a god, by the way. So,
no, it's not.
Just a trick answer I threw in there. Okay, number 5, also episode 5, Shut Up, Dr. Phil. Which actors from Buffy the Vampire Slayer played a couple of witches? Was it A, Alison Hannigan and Nicholas Brandon, B, Charisma Carpenter and James Marsters, C, Seth Green and Emma Caulfield, or D, David Boreanaz and Michelle Trachtenberg?
B.
It was Charisma Carpenter and James Marsters. Hooray. Mm-hmm. You could be a plug for Babe's podcast right there, but okay. All right.
I know.
So, are we ready for question number 6? All right. Yeah. In episode 7, The Mentalist, Sam and Dean go to what town made famous by spiritualists, the Fox Sisters? Was it Cassadaga, Florida, Sleepy Hollow, New York, Lilydale, New York, or Point Pleasant, West Virginia?
Lilydale.
It was Lilydale. Oh, vacation plans someday. Question number 7. Sam marries Becky in episode 8, Time for a Wedding. That week was supposed to be what? Sam and Dean's annual pilgrimage to Las Vegas, their annual pilgrimage to New Orleans, their annual pilgrimage to Wally World, or their annual pilgrimage to Valley Forge. Pigeon Forge, not Valley Forge. God damn, I fucked up my own joke.
It is Las Vegas.
It is Las Vegas. And
I mean, we can go to Dollywood. They don't need to.
Why don't they, man? Why? I don't know. We've got many more seasons to go. Maybe there will be a monster in Dollywood. But there should be. Someone fanficked us an episode of Sam and Dean go to Dollywood. Question number 8. In episode 12, Time After Time, aka Time Travel is Still Stupid, Dean travels back in time and fights a time god with the help of who? John Winchester, Samuel Colt, Elliot Ness, or Wyatt Earp?
Elliot Ness.
It was Elliot Ness. Ah!
Yay.
Doing so well, Diana. So well.
This might be the best I've ever done.
I think it is. And in question number 9, in the Slice Girls, Dean gets what? A, chlamydia. B, an Amazon pregnant. C, a turducken sandwich.
Well, he definitely gets an Amazon pregnant. I'm trying to remember. He also has the sandwich in the same episode.
Not in the same episode.
I don't think it was on the same episode. So it's the Amazon pregnant for sure.
He does get the Amazon pregnant. He also may have gotten chlamydia. We don't know. Like, we didn't go over his STI
we didn't get his
test.
Results.
Yeah, we didn't see those results. So, but at least B. And I still want the turducken sandwich. All right. Our final question number 10. In this season, we once again felt the consequences of Sam's peen of death. when we met Annie, a hunter who fucked Sam Winchester and is now dead. How many women up to this point have fallen victim to Sam Winchester's dick?
Oh, man. Is she number 4? I feel like there's more than that.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with it.
That is correct. Oh my god, I think you got all the questions right. So yeah, she was 4.
The one I kind of joked about. I don't know if you want to count that. That's my socks one. That's it.
All right, so
But
yeah, whatever. Cheat. Say you won. What the fuck? You learned nothing from me. Okay, so we had Jessica, Madison the werewolf from season 2,
yep,
and Ruby.
correct.
So then you add in Annie, that's 4.
Annie,
you could consider. So there are some people who is not necessarily the peen of death. Just you make out with Sam Winchester and die, because then you could add in Meg, because she make out assaulted Sam in season 1, and Amy Pond, who did die because she kissed a younger Sam Winchester. But I feel like they didn't I feel like we all wanted to the 4, but still, that's a lot.
It's a lot. That's a bad track record, sir. Bad.
You should be in a lot of therapy.
Yeah. Well, we already know they all need.
We do know that. So. All right, that was season 10. Season 10. It was like,
season 7.
I'm projecting into the future. So that was season 7 trivia. Hooray!
Woohoo!
Diana wins.
And we got baby back.
We get baby back, and Diana wins a baby back ribs special from Applebee's. Your gift card is in the mail. Okay. So baby is back.
Oh my god. Yeah. And baby drives straight through the Sucre Corp sign, like crazy. Meg's driving.
Yeah!
That's a big deal. Dean let Meg
right?
drive.
So maybe he has given her.
That's a leap of trust.
But also, it's kind of like this whole because the way this is shot, right? Because it's all the peeling out. It's like, there's a really good a thing on YouTube where we'll post it, of the new sound of the squealing, because baby has a new engine at this point. She did get a new engine for this episode. So the way that's done, though, you feel like it's like the boys, and then Meg gets out, and you're like, the fuck, it's Meg.
I liked it. Yeah, Megan driving like a bad bitch. And then she's getting shot a bunch by security,
and she's just walking through it, though, because she's
walking through it, and she's got a bottle of borax in one hand and a big ass knife in the other.
Now do you see why I love Meg? Are you on Meg's side yet?
She's been growing on me. Yeah. She's been growing on me since she came back with this whole thing. I'm into it. So we've got Sam sneaking in the back of the building. Dean and Castiel are already inside the building. And so you can basically we figure out that Sam's looking for Kevin, Dean and Castiel are on the dick hunt. You're welcome.
Also call my last Friday night.
No, duck hunt, dick hunt. Yeah. Anyways, so Dean and Castiel are looking for the right dick, and they realize that the one in the conference room is not it. You're welcome. I'm just going to keep going with it. And so they're going to go try to find the right dick. While Meg is getting accosted, and I guess that this is the new routine to take out Leviathans is borax and beheading. Borax them, and you cut their heads off. But I like borax and beheading. It's B&B.
B&B. Yeah, the new B&B. All right, I like it. And then she just, after she does it, she, pieces out, and she's later hoe nuggets. And I don't think I've ever heard the term hoe nuggets, but I think let's bring hoe nuggets back.
Home nuggets? I don't know about that one, but
I love a hoe nugget.
When she said it too.
It also just makes me want a nugget. This is McDonald's new release. Hoe nuggets.
Well, we've got Sam finds Kevin and unties him, and Kevin's like, "This is awesome, but we can't leave. We have to blow up the lab because they're gonna kill all the skinny people." I'm like, wait. And Sam's like, "What? Oh, okay." Dick's in the lab.
Oh, so I think we also missed. Yes. So while the later hoe nuggets distracted us, the demons are also there. So Meg is getting taken to Crowley, and we don't. Meg's gone.
That's the last we see of her. We don't see Meg again. Meg gets taken by two demons to Crowley.
All right, I'm just going to say that right now. Was last to see Meg.
Well, I don't think they're going to because I think they're going to have their own problem.
I know, but anyway, so Meg is gone.
Meg's gone. Dick's admiring his cute little creamer cups as the slickest little genocide in history. Oh, but then and he's drinking it himself, so I guess it doesn't affect them at all, which is weird.
Who drinks creamer, you psychopath?
You don't?
Like straight out of the cup?
Well, like, well, not like as an adult, but as a kid, that was awesome. A little creamer cup.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Go on.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. So, Dean and Castiel are there. They have boraxed and beheaded. So we got another B&B of our lab coat guy Royce. So he gone. And Dick reacts. He's like, well, abrupt, but okay. And he greets Castiel and thanks him, and then for delivering them, I guess, and then congratulates.
I guess
Dean
he's like their mom, right? Like, is Cass the Leviathan's mom?
I guess it's so weird. I don't know. And Dean's like, yeah, I know you don't think this weapon's gonna work, but do you really trust that demon? Maybe it will work. Sorry. And Dick's like, are you sure I'm even the right Dick? And Dean's like, no, but he is. So, because Castiel identified that it's the right one. So Dick's going to try to bail. He's like, fuck this, I'm out, deuces. But Castiel's like, nope. So we get thrown around a little bit. And Dean stabs Dick with the bone. And nothing happens. He just pulls it out and breaks it.
But you also missed a line there where somebody said, I don't even know, I just have a line that says, Crowley will always find a way to bone you, because then I put ... promise ?
Bone jokes continue. Boning and Dick. But then, like, this bone gets broken, like the big weapon. We're like, what the fuck? But Dean's all cocky because he's got a second. Oh, Dick's all cocky, but Dean has a second bone. Why the fuck do they had a decoy bone? Very confusing. Very confusing. They had a decoy bone. Yep. And Castiel hops up from the floor and pulls Dick's head back, and Dean stabs him through the side of his neck with the right bone.
Not the left bone, clearly, but it also just looks like an arrow to the head. This is like, to me, it's like one of the most comical deaths because it looks like an arrow to the head joke.
Yeah.
But through the neck. It was a bone to the neck.
Through the neck, yeah. He get Dick's neck cut boned.
It's not like being skull fucked. It's like being neck fucked. It's different. Yeah,
well, Dick's all upset now, and he like kind of Leviathan's out, but it's like he's almost like planted in place. It's very weird, but he's Leviathaning out a little bit, looking angry. He's got black goo oozing from his face, but he's kind of smirking, and he like starts like vibrating, and the sound waves are emanating off his body. I
call it sonic booming. Like it's almost
it's like a drum. It's like a drum.
It's like the
circle.
Sound is getting. It's like a drum circle. So yeah, but it's like, I don't know, like you can see the sound waves that are coming off of him, and he looks so happy and satisfied as he splats. And because I feel like there is something that's being implied from that look, like, and I don't know what it is.
He knows something.
Yeah, it was he was very too happy to like do whatever to be boned.
Well,
he was just too happy to be boned.
Too happy to be boned. He was enjoying getting boned. Well, Dick, Dean, and Castiel are gone. Sam and Kevin are there. They saw this go down. And Kevin's like, we need to get the fuck out before more chompers show up. And Sam's like, but where the fuck is Dean? So then Crowley shows up. And he's like, I have an army of demons outside. By the way, because they don't have a master anymore, so the Leviathans are just like any other monster because they're all just going to go out and do their thing. Well, that's unfortunate because that is something that Sam had pointed out earlier. Nobody knew what would happen to all the Leviathans once the Leviathan head was killed. So now they're just like regular monsters running around out there. It's kind of a lot of
So what's Susan doing?
Hard to kill.
Yeah. So what?
I don't know. Can we get a resume?
Yeah, I know. Like she's like on LinkedIn, like her status changes to actively seeking work.
But like,
Oh my
what
God.
do they? I mean, how do they get rid of them? You can't kill them.
But maybe you can kill them now. I don't know. So this
I don't know.
question
It's very
like
confusing.
is like weird. So we don't know what that is. But really we know like the most important thing is that God weapons have a bit of a kick.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
they gone.
Yeah. And he won't say where Dean is. And yeah. But Kevin is going to go with the demon lackeys because that's what Crowley wants.
He's saying take it. He's not going with. Crowley
Well,
takes Kevin. So Kevin's being
yes.
kidnapped. This poor Kevin Tran. And if you just yell
Just
Kevin,
getting
I just
shuffled
want
around.
Diana to yell Kevin a lot so her dog comes like running into the room.
No. I moved the dog bed so and the door's closed.
But you think about it, Kevin Tran has now been to Angels, Sam and Dean, Leviathan, and now he's going to demons.
Yeah.
Poor Kevin
Poor
Tran.
kid. He just wants to go to fucking Princeton.
He just wants to go to Princeton, have a girlfriend, play his cello.
Be the president.
And to be the first Asian American president of the United States. It's not too much to ask, Kevin Tran.
It's not. But Crowley's like, yeah, you got what you wanted. Dick's dead. You saved the world. I get one profit. So, sorry, Moose. And he snaps out. That's it. So now Sam's standing alone in this lab. Full of poison. People poison.
But also, like, Crowley points out like how alone, like really you're alone. If you think about, you put yourself in Sam Winchester's position. He no longer like he doesn't have a dad's gone. Dean's missing. Cass is missing. Bobby is now been burnt off in his cauldron, and so he is. And I see that emotional panic of like the I am the only adult who can handle things now, and the like I recognize that hyperventilation, Sam Winchester, and I don't know. So we don't like that's I think the last we're gonna see is Sam Winchester for this episode. Just spoil that. And we're gonna go to the final scene.
In the woods at night. Dean's unconscious
not
on the ground.
Not the woods that you were in.
No, not the Forbidden Forest. Not the Forbidden Forest.
I guess technically it looks like a forbidden forest.
Well,
so like the
there was creatures
from
the woods.
Forest.
Yeah. But Castiel wakes him up. He's like, we need to get out of here. And Castiel's like, he kind of doesn't know where they are, but he knows where they are because they are where monsters go when they die, which is purgatory, right? I mean, that's where we're ending up.
It is purgatory. It's
implied. It's not said.
But also, Cass's voice is not as friendly as your like. Cass doesn't sound like he's on Dean's side, or like he just like we're like to me like there is like the voice doesn't sound like I'm in this with you. Like to me, like his voice is like this place is fucked. Bye. I don't know. I feel like Dean gets left like on his own here too, just like Sam does.
I think so too. And he's like, yeah, all these monsters just prey on each other for eternity. We're likely to be ripped to shreds. And then he kind of disappears, and then Dean's by himself, and there's creatures stalking him in the woods. That's it.
Yeah, and just monster red eyes.
That's the season.
And that's the season. Also, these monsters that were in the woods, I think were supposed to be the original Leviathan. They thought were too creepy, but
they were pretty creepy.
They were. So let's go to some casting couch, and then we can dissect all of this.
Casting couch. It's the casting couch. Were they on that show that time with that guy? La 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 la.
Yeah, only just a couple folks I want to mention because a lot of this was repeat characters that we've had. So our lab coat guy, aka Royce, was played by Robert Lawrenson. He was a regular character on the TV show Sanctuary on the Sci-Fi Channel called named Declan. And he was a cop in the Underworld Awakening movie. And then Polly was played by Nikki Whipf. And she has been in several Hallmark movies. And then most recently was in one of the episodes of the new miniseries Fall of the House of Usher, which I want to watch. I haven't watched it yet. So,
Cool.
that's it.
I'm glad they made a pipeline. The seasons seem to make the Hallmark. I don't know. Maybe just all like acting things are just good for you, Hallmark Channel, for keeping these actors employed.
Yeah.
They
good
got to
for
have
them.
something to do, I guess.
For real.
All right. So, okay, let's start with the wrapping of the episode. So, what do you think of the episode?
Not wrapped enough for me. I know there's going to be a cliffhanger. There's got to be a cliffhanger. I fucking get it. But this is a double cliffhanger, I feel like, and I don't feel like that's fair.
I mean, it's almost more than double, right?
Yeah, like every character's in limbo. Like we don't know what's happening to fucking anybody. Usually you get like and we got a little bit of a wrap up, so I'm not saying we didn't because we got Dick dead. But like you usually get like I hope, I'm assuming. But like you usually get like a little bit of like, okay, we kind of are putting a bow on this, and then we know this fucked up thing is happening, so we've got something to carry into next season. But I feel like we kind of got a bow. Okay, well the world's not going to end, but all the characters are fucked. You know what I mean? It's kind of a weird.
Yeah, but I mean,
the
majority. So we know Bobby's gone, right? So
Bobby's gone.
Bobby's gone. Dean and Cass are in purgatory. Crowley is in hell.
But Cassiel just left him by himself.
Yeah, but we know
Dean
where he
alone.
is. Like, you know, like he's in they're in purgatory. So we're gonna have, that. But we know Sam is alone. So I mean, that's like where he's at, and yeah, that's just it.
Crowley's got Kevin and Meg.
Yeah, so Supernatural just continues with Jared Padalecki as the main character, and that's how it ends.
That's it. I don't think that's
no.
No.
That's. I sorry, spoiler alert, but that's just like it just becomes a Sam Winchester show. It's all about mooses, like
all about
and then
mooses.
his quest to find jeans that are long enough to fit him. And how long his hair can get, because this is also like Jared Padalecki's hair is like art, like it is making statements during this episode.
It is shaggy. Now.
It is shaggy. It is like flopping. It is flying in the wind. It's just So that is what the final 8 seasons of the show are about, or just about Jared
jeans, tall jeans and long hair.
Tall jeans and hair.
Oh my gosh, ridiculous.
All right,
but. Yeah.
So you felt like things are left unresolved, and so
a little more than I like. I need a little bit more of a resolution. I was a little bummed.
All right. So what did you think about season 7, like in general?
I am relieved that we might be coming to the conclusion of Leviathans.
Yeah.
Somewhat relieved about that. As much as
I
do agree. I came around with you.
What did you think about Leviathan?
I came around with you on, at first I was just like that, kind of annoyed because like it felt unkillable and unbeatable, and that gets exhausting to feel like there's not a path forward, like there has to be something to be done. But Dick Roman was super fun character, so that was an interesting like balance mentally for me. Was like, I'm over this big bad. I'm over the big bad. But he's still likable. It's like it's an entertaining character. So I really enjoyed that aspect. So it was a nice balance. And it's a love-hate. And that's actually pretty hard to write, to make people want to like, oh, I hate this, but I love it. You know, that's pretty good.
You also kind of liked, at least I did, I kind of liked all the Leviathan, right, as characters.
I don't know. All the characters were great.
Like was hilarious.
Yeah,
Edgar's
a badass.
So, like, the characters.
Susan, we love.
Susan. So...
But it was just really difficult with just like the generic Leviathan, like in the concept of Leviathan being that unkillable. That's what I found. Like the unbeatable bad guy was hard for me to process.
Okay.
Like, what is his Achilles heel? He had to have one other than just throw some borax at him. But yeah, so that was one thing. And then I'm really excited to have met some of the iconic characters because, like, you know, I follow even though I still don't watch ahead on the episodes at all, but I follow the fandom. Yeah. And so I'm aware of all these folks, and they're famous in other things too. Like, obviously, like DJ Qualls and Felicia Day are not only known from Supernatural. So like getting to see like their characters in the show, that was super fun. And in general, there were some fun characters. Like you said, we were talking about earlier, like Frank was fun. And then of course from the quiz, you know, we got some great cameos from our Buffy friends and stuff like that. So I think that was, I guess I need to see the next season to understand why people hate the season so much. Cause I don't, other than losing Bobby, that's the big bummer.
I think there's interesting, I was say, like, my friends who really hate this season are dudes, and so I don't want to put it on that. But, like, I don't know. I think a lot of people just didn't like Leviathan in general and thought that, it was kind of, but, but you still have more people to come up and meet. And so there's a couple more iconic characters. It's, God damn it, we're season 7.
I know, we got a ways to go.
Yeah, so this is the wrap up of season 7, and I guess my thoughts. I guess anybody. It's like it was like
I want to hear.
I honestly, some of my favorite episodes are of this season. Obviously, like, I also love Felicia Day, and that's her introduction, and that's really great. But even like Dean knocking out the Amazon and having a child, I still think was like really hilarious. And we got some super meta episodes this season, and then the meta-ness keeps on, like, and not in the Mark Zuckerberg way, just more in just this way.
Right.
But yeah, I don't hate season 7. I have a lot of friends who do. I'm just thinking, but I don't. I particularly like. There are certain things about this I hate. Like, I don't want Bobby to die because I love Bobby, and those things were very emotionally hard for me to watch.
Right.
And especially everything that's personally going on, like having a father figure go was like a tough thing to happen this season. But I don't know. I think that you can't have everybody forever. I don't know. So
yeah, I
like season 7.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I'm excited to see what's next. I am.
So many more seasons.
So many more seasons.
All right, but we're very excited, and we're looking forward to them.
Yes,
and
we'll be taking a week off after this because as we do at the end of every season. So we'll be taking a break for a week and it'll be celebrating New Year for everybody if you're watching this in real time or listening in real time. Otherwise, and then we'll be back with season 8 in a couple weeks.
Yeah. So if you're listening in real time, we'll talk to you in 2024.
Right? There we go.
All right.
Season 8 in 2024. All
right. Cheers, Dirk.
Cheers, bitch.
Devil's Trap Podcast is a Don't Get It production. Meow.
Devil's Trap Podcast is part of the Ship It Studios Podcast Network. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Devil's Trap Podcast, Twitter at Devil's Trap Pod, or you can email us at devilstrap@devilstrappodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave reviews, and share with all your friends. We're at all your favorite podcast outlets and at devilstrappodcast.com. I'm Babe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.